second. Welcome, everybody, to another edition of REUZEL Education, coming to you live in your home. My name is Pedulla. I'm a Canadian Scum Ambassador for REUZEL. I've been with REUZEL for approximately 5 years, plus or minus, more plus. I've been in the industry for closer to 30. And today I'm going to share with you a few different things. We spoke about the various haircuts. Vanguard, we both did. Well, Court and my good friend Paul in the UK both did similar haircuts. So I don't want to do the same exact haircut, but although I already kind of did, I pre-cut this mannequin. So we're going to make this education series a little bit more informative, but at the same time, I want it to be more interactive. So I want you at home to also introduce yourselves. Let me know who's in. Let me know who's tuned in. Let me know who's watching. If you have any questions, I want to touch on a few different things. I want to touch on the baseline and why we create the baseline. I want to touch on product knowledge. I want to touch on the product island that we kind of put together in our other store. So there's a few things that I want to touch on. And if you have any questions at any time, please feel free to ask, and I'll be more than happy to answer you. So to get it started, like I said, my two colleagues and Bertus himself also had commented a lot on the process of the haircut, or we spoke a lot about the process of the haircut and why we create haircuts that way. We have a certain system that we like to follow. More than anything, I think what systems do is they give you a sense of consistency, which in our industry is extremely important. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how we go through our process, but not just on how we actually touch on our process, but why we touch on our process that way. Like, why is a baseline put into play? But before we go any further with that, I want to talk about consultation. Okay, getting to know your patron. You have to understand in what we do. Okay, and I'm going to speak on barbering really as a clientele base, as our market space, right? Men in general. Okay, there's a lot more of a loyalty involved in a guy and his barber, a man and his barber. The thing with that is, when a guy comes into your shop, that first step of him coming into your shop was probably the hardest thing for him to do. Change what he's comfortable with, change his comfort zone. So him coming in was a huge accomplishment on his part, but more so, the hardest part of you getting a new client. So how do we hone in on exactly that? How can we focus on what we're going to do different, or what are we going to do that's going to set us apart from what he's used to? Okay, so gentleman sits in your chair. Consultation is extremely important because it does a lot of things. More than just get to know the person, it gives you a roadmap, or it allows you to basically program your roadmap and sketch out where you want to go by asking certain questions. Now, I say this a lot in a lot of the courses that I give. Asking questions is great, okay? And I can give you a million questions to ask, but if you can't decipher the answer, if you can't figure out why he answered that way and break it down to an understanding of how you can change it or make it better in his haircut, then it's pointless to ask questions. Okay? It's the same thing like me teaching you to do a haircut, or us teaching you to do a haircut, and if you keep practicing that haircut over and over again, you'll do that haircut perfectly. But what good is it if you don't understand why you've done those steps? So that's what I want to really try to touch on more than anything, is understanding why we do what we do. So consultation for me is extremely important. In my shops, I stress that as the most important part of the whole appointment or time with that person. Why I stress it why I stress it is because that's your time to really make this person feel special. Okay? Feel like he's a one of a kind. If I were to sit a person down in my chair and I were to ask a man that sits in my chair, what are we doing today? A guy usually will not go into detail of how he wants his hair. Rather, what he'll do is tell you what he has and how he likes to wear it, which is fine. But if he sits in your chair for the first time, I'm under the impression if anyone has made a conscious effort to switch barber, well, they did it because something wasn't wasn't right or something wasn't making them happy. It could be many times they've moved, it's more convenient for them. Great. Either way, you got to make yourself shine. How do we do that? Through a proper consultation. When a person sits in my chair, I take the time to literally lean in and be a part of him. I want to make sure that what we are on the same level, and I want to make sure that I'm not intimidating to him or he's not intimidating me. I want us to be as if we were comfortably having a coffee together. So what I like to do, I like to go in front of my patron, eye to eye. I never like to talk through a mirror. Little things like this I feel a big difference. So when I sit with him and I ask him questions, my questions are simple. How do you normally like to wear your hair? What is your natural process? Like, how do you normally style it on a day-to-day? How often do you wash your hair? All these things are going to give me an idea of what his overall routine is and how he normally likes to style his hair. So I don't want to do anything that's going to be too complicated for him if all he does is, well, I come out of the shower, towel dry, slick it back, and I'm good to go. So I'm not going to tell him, well, then you're going to blow dry, do a side part. I'm going to keep it simple and work with him. So those are some of the questions I like to ask. His routines. One thing I really like to focus on is not what he likes of his hair. What I normally like is what doesn't he like about his hair? What's the one thing that bothers him about his hair? Now, we all have something that bothers them about their hair. What bothers me about mine is the lack of it. I feel that if I had more hair, it would be easier for me to style. But that being said, it's not about me, it's about the patron. So what does he not like about his hair? And then I'm going to focus on that. Now, it could be the way it parts. It could be the way his cowlick sits in the back. It could be on how his rosette in the front kind of affects the way he styles it. All those little things are going to give me a little bit more of a game plan and a roadmap that's going to allow me to maybe address that issue and see how I can fix it. Okay? So with REUZEL and everything that we do, we have a structured process of the way we create this haircut. I know that creating a baseline will divide the top part to the bottom part. And in doing so, it's going to give me that overall guideline that's going to basically tell me my whole haircut, which is what's amazing about our not custom technique, but what we do as a brand and as what we do as a company. We follow this pattern and we follow this system because, one, it builds consistency. Two, it's been tried and tested and we know it works. Okay? And this is the way we like to work. Not that we're knocking the way anyone else likes to work or what they do on their daily routine. I always like to think of it as this is a great thing to add to your repertoire more than anything. Okay? So once I've done my consultation with my patron, I want to address the issues that he's had and I want to find a proper game plan. Once I've wet down the hair, I can then see how his hair reacts once it's wet, as opposed to when he came in and it was styled. What I'm looking for is growth patterns. Now, again, on a mannequin head, you're not going to get that type of natural flow that you would on a human. But that being said, what I'm looking for in my clients is exactly how his hair falls. I want to read the story of his hair. And I say this a lot. Read the story. Don't try to rewrite it. Okay? I want you to read the story and I want you to see how everything falls. By me combing the hair, it gives me an indication of what his hair is capable of doing, what his hair won't want to do, where it springs up, where it pushes forward. And these are all things that I got to literally take mental notes of to make sure that I can address them properly when I go to cut his hair. So that being said, now I decided what I'm going to do on my client. It's really important. Like we educate ourselves or we educate each other, we need to educate our client. And I get this so many times when I'm actually doing a client, and I love to talk to my clients, not only about what their life is about and what they like to do, but what I'm going to do to them and how I am going to address those issues that they have. 99.9% of the time that I do that, I get the same reaction from pretty much everybody. Wow, I've never been told that before. No one has ever explained it to me that way before. That tells me that the majority of what we do for ourselves. Now, understand something. Barbering has never been about the barber. Barbering has always been about the client. Okay, it's always been about the person that sits in your chair. That is the most important person. That is the one that you need to make feel comfortable. That is the one that everything depends on their return. Okay, I want to create a relationship. More importantly than me killing that haircut today, I want to make him understand what I'm going to do to that haircut and how I'm going to make it better for him. And if I can't do that today, I will give him a game plan, because by giving him a game plan sets a secondary or a third appointment, and I get him to come back and make him realize that I might not achieve everything I want to do today because of your disconnection or because of the way it was undercut or because of how short it is on your baseline. I want to grow that in, whatever it may be. I want to address all those issues and give him a game plan. So retention, in what I just basically told you, is how you gauge how busy or how successful you are as a barber. Okay. Now, you could be in a location that has a ton of foot traffic and you can be busy all the time. But if you're not doing the proper steps and your retention, meaning the people that you've already done, are they coming back? That's how you gauge how busy you are. Because you could be extremely busy, but every time that someone sits in your chair, it's a new person. If that person's not coming back, well, eventually that well will run out. So you got to make sure that all your clients that sit in your chair are going to be repeat business. You do so by educating your clients. Okay, so I want to explain to my client what I'm going to do, the baseline, why I feel the baseline is really important. A guy comes in and tells me, okay, this is what I'd like, or this is what bothers me, and so on and so forth. And I see that his head is shaved up until his baseline, and then everything else pineapples off. Well, I want to explain to him the benefits of having a baseline, what it does and how it squares off his head, right? How it squares off that corner, how it doesn't add or contribute to that bend. Okay, and I want to talk to him about why we do that and the importance of having that baseline, and how he loves to wear so much height in his hair, but he never seems to hold because it always falls flat, because he blames it on the product. When someone tells me that I put gel in my hair because I need it to hold, yes, gel helps. But if the proper structure of that haircut is not done, if there's no foundation to that haircut, no matter how much gel you put, it will eventually fall, right? You can't build a house without a foundation. You can't put the roof on before the walls. So all this has to do with the same thing of what we're talking about with haircuts. Now, REUZEL has helped us in so many different ways with product, right? Every time they've introduced a product, it's always been to benefit what we're doing, right? It hasn't been, oh, we think this is a cool product, you're going to like it. No, it's always been about what the patron needs. And it always addressed certain issues that we're having in the industry. So I love the way the company has evolved from 2 products to where we're at today. And I can't stress enough the importance of product, because I don't care how good of a hairdresser, hairstylist, barber, whatever you want to call yourself are. You are only as good as your haircut is to him tomorrow, the day after, the week after. If he can't do your haircut as great as you think that haircut is, to him it's garbage. So how can we make sure that our clients can recreate this at home? Education, education, education. I want to explain to him why I'm doing the haircut this way, why I've created the baseline, why I'm keeping my angles at the top, why I'm keeping a little bit more height, why I'm over-directed, and what effect it's going to give. Why am I using grooming spray or grooming tonic? Why am I using hair tonic in my water? All these things have certain benefits, and I want him to understand that, because I want him to have all the arsenal in his possession at home to actually recreate this, no problem, right? Now I know what you're thinking. Oh, my clients won't put all those products in there. Oh, my clients won't do this. My clients won't do that. Your clients will do whatever looks good on them. It's that simple. I've had clients sit in my chair, never put a blow dryer to their hair at all. But I did their hair a certain way, and I told them I'm going to blow dry because I want to see the haircut dry, and I want to give the overall look, and I want to fine tune it to best suit you. But you don't have to do this at home. You could wash and wear it if you like and continue your daily routine. I just like to get a finished product. When they walk out of my shop and their girlfriend, their wife, their boyfriend, whoever it may be, sees them and says, wow, you did something different. Your hair looks fantastic. That little jolt of confidence will make this person do whatever you did every single time he styles his hair. So what is he going to need? His dippity-doo that he has at home? No, because it's not going to have the same effect that what we put in his hair, whether it be the REUZEL Extreme, whether it be the matte styling paste, whatever it may be, it was personalized to him. So as you can see, I keep my counters clear. So this is my original barbershop. We had all our products set up in front. The thing that used to bother me the most about product is that it's set up in front of you, and when you're doing a client, and we all get caught up in this, and I realized that I got caught up in it too, and that's why I wanted to change the way we did things. And that's why I introduced a product island in my new location. What I wanted to do was remove products from the station, because I wanted you, or I wanted myself and my team to create a personalized prescription for each individual client. Okay? And I got that idea with a few things. I love the brand. I love REUZEL and all that it stands for, but there's so many different products. How am I going to get my red to sell as much as my blue? How am I going to get my extreme to sell as much as my fiber? Well, you're only going to do that if you spend the right amount of time and the right amount of consultation with each one of your clients. You make it unique. So the fact that I wanted to sell more product definitely helped. The fact that it has such a great line of products that I really wanted to make my clients understand the wide range of products and choice that they have. And then these trays. These trays were what stemmed my idea to do this, because I love the fact of when you're at a spa or at a fancy hotel or at a fancy restaurant and they bring you a steaming towel on a tray, or they bring you your products or your drink or whatever it is that you order. I love the whole gesture of a tray, just add a little bit more elegance. So I thought, how can I do that in what we do? So my prescription. So before we go further and talk about our prescription, I want to talk about my client and his haircut and what we've decided to do. I created my baseline. I then took my triangular sectioning, divided the front from above the ear, from behind the ear, and created 3 parts. Okay? Started in the back, about the width of a comb, and took section to section all the way through. Okay? Continued that with my center, and then I kind of freehand cut the front to give a little bit more of an arch. So I'm going to show you on this side. Exactly what we did. I'm going to wet them up. Any questions so far? Please, guys, you're home. So now there's no reason for you to be shy to ask a question, right? If there's anything you want to know, now's the time to do it. Hide behind your screen and type away. Okay, so taking a full section all the way through. All right, I take my parting all the way to the back. With my clipper comb, I find where I want to be. I work my way down, cleaning up my overall section. Like I said, I pre-cut most of this earlier because I didn't want to focus too much time on the actual haircut. I wanted to focus more time on the actual styling and everything that we're going to do. Okay, so I create my triangles, front and back. I start with the back section. One thing I stress a lot is sectioning and the importance of clean sections and working properly. Okay, now I compare this a lot to, again, restaurants, hotels, any type of service industry. There's a reason why hotels have different rankings and different and restaurants have different, like 3 Michelin stars and or a 5-star this and 2-star that and whatever it is. Stars are supposed to rank your level of quality, right? Your level of perfection, if you will. Are you a 5-star barber, hairstylist, hairdresser, or are you a 2-star? Now, I say that because it's really important to know where you stand. It's really important to know what it is that you offer your clients, because your first client of the day gets the best of you. He gets you fresh. He gets you showered, dressed. He gets you going, you're full of energy and excitement and enthusiasm with that first client. Now, does that deteriorate throughout the day? Your station is proper, it's clean, it looks fantastic. Does that deteriorate throughout the day? If you go to a restaurant and sit down, is that table as clean as it was for the last one, or do they leave the plates on top of the table? They tend to clean everything. So that being said, I like to do the same thing. I like to allocate enough time for all my clients so that I can reset with every single one of my clients to make sure that my station is clean, to make sure that my chair is clean, my sink is clean, my products are put properly, my clipper and scissors, everything is exactly the way it was with my first client, because I want to give them the same exact service that I gave my first client. So sections, the way you stand, extremely important, right? Your posture, your sectioning, how you take your section, how you find your baseline. Once you find your baseline, how you cut. Keeping it clean will allow you to always make sure that your haircut will always turn out proper. If I take a clean section, I know exactly what I'm grabbing. I know exactly where I'm going. Everything I'm doing, I can see the outcome immediately, right? Because we work with a very structured process. And that structured process means we have an order, a system of doing things. So I know that men are creatures of habit in general. And one thing I've realized, a man realizes, or my clients anyway, realize when I do something different. If I change side, oh, you're starting it differently. The fact that they do that, they tune into these things, always interests me and impresses me that they've paid that much attention to what I do. So I like the fact that I have a structured way of working. It gives myself the ability to constantly create the same quality of work every single time, but it gives my client a sense of security that I'm doing the same thing over and over again. Okay. There we go. So now, section to section, you can see how that automatically falls. Same thing with my center party. I'm going to take that over. I'm going to over direct it slightly. So this is the widest point of the head. I'm creating a long-term pompadour, so I want to have a little bit more height on the top. I want to have a little bit more exaggeration. So I'm just going to over direct slightly, causing it to have a slight disconnection. Okay. Take my next section over. See where my sectioning is. Feels good to cut hair. I haven't cut hair in a few weeks. It's got to be, feels nice to do something that you're happy to do. Okay, so I like to play with the hair. And I use my comb a lot. I really like to comb the hair to see what my hair is doing, how it sits, because it helps tell my story, right? It helps me refresh my roadmap and see if I'm on the right page. So taking my next section forward again, right? I'm going to separate that over. Okay. Over direct. Following this line, like I said, I want to leave a nice exaggeration. Now, if you really want, you can freestyle or freehand that part going forward. Okay. Next section over, same thing. Let's take this out. Perfect. Okay. I'm going to get over on this side. Now I'm just going to cross-check my overall haircut. I'll bring everything to the highest point. Okay. I like to do a lot of point cutting. Gives it a little bit more texture and definition. Kind of details it a little bit. Okay. So now, seeing more or less. Yes. Hello, Ryan in Vietnam. How are you, sir? All right. So, majority of it is done. This is basically what I call the first part of the haircut. So the first part of the haircut, I created my structure, I created my overall foundation, I created pretty much how the haircut will look or will sit on my client's head. My second part is after I dry it is my second haircut. Okay, so now I'm going to style the hair, and once I finish styling it, this is where I'm going to detail it. So this is what I like to call the tailored part. Okay, this is where you bought a suit, you went to the clothing store, you put it on, it fit great, right? And now you had that suit tailored. So they took it in a little bit, they let it out a little bit, they brought in the cuffs, they shortened the hem, whatever it may be, to make it fit your unique body, right? Because we're all unique. We all have something that's different about the next person. So we want to do the same thing with the haircut. So how are we going to make that haircut personalized? You can't just dry it and out they go. No, you got to detail it. So you're going to see the haircut wet, you're going to see the haircut dry, and then we're going to do the product prescription like I talked about. So, REUZEL Grooming Spray. Now you have the grooming spray and you have the grooming tonic. The difference between the two. The grooming tonic has a little bit more grit to it, a little bit more stickiness to it, or more of a hold to it. That would be something that you want to put to really have a massive, strong hold, or really give an extreme amount of volume and support. The grooming spray, same base, same concept, same everything. The only difference is it's a little lighter. And they put it in a spray, right? Because we've had that demand. People were asking for it's harder when you're putting it in your hand, just a little easier to spray it on, right? So the only way we can allow this product to work with a spray is if they actually diluted the product a little bit or made it a little bit of a lighter hold. So it doesn't have the same amount of potency, it won't clog the spray nozzle. So I put in my grooming spray. Of the two, the grooming tonic and the grooming spray, I'm going to be honest with you, I like to use the grooming tonic more. I like that strong hold and I like that massive support. But I also like to see what it does when you dry the hair. You still get the same effect with the grooming spray. I'm just maybe a creature of habit. I'm used to using the tonic a lot, and I got really particular with it. Only thing is that we go through a lot of product in our shop, and right before we closed, it kind of happened in a way where we had to shut down quickly, so we never got that last order in. So I don't have any more of the grooming tonic. Plus, we've been supporting a lot of our clients that have asked me personally online for product. So, blow drying hair and the importance of blow drying hair. All I want to do when I blow dry hair is I want the hair to settle in its natural way, but I want to give it the overall look that I want. I don't want to force hair to do anything that it doesn't want to do. So I don't want to really, because I know my client won't sit there really trying to anchor it down. I really want the blow dry to do an effect of as if it were to air dry, but with a little bit more direction. So I use medium heat, high speed. And I literally let the blow dryer direct the hair. Now doing this, like I said, blow drying hair doesn't have to take 20 minutes, right? Because no one's going to spend 20 minutes blow drying their hair. But all I want to do is allow the hair to dry and give a natural movement. So you see how the blow dryer does pretty much all the work. All my brush is doing, my vent brush, is just helping direct the hair and how it will fit. So the haircut, you can automatically see, right, the overall shape of the hairstyle, right? Do the same thing on the other side. Okay. Working always in the same direction. Building some volume at my root. Using my vent brush. Lifting the hair. I'm not creasing it. All I want to do is create height. There we go. I was focusing on the center. I really want to make sure it's dry at the root. And it's important to dry hair at the root. You know, we tend to focus a lot on the exterior, but it's really the root that's going to cause the most amount of height and the hold, right? Because if we leave the root slightly damp, what will happen throughout the course of the day? That damp will dry, it will flatten. And once it flattens, you lose volume. Okay? So if we're going to create a lot of height, a lot of hold in that pompadour, we're going to need to get that from the root. Sorry. There we go. Okay. So now I created pretty much, now like I said, I wanted it dry, but I don't want to go too much into the blow drying itself. I want to really focus on what we were out to talk about. My detailing now we'll start where this is where I'm going to start to create my overall finish, right? This is where I'm going to start to personalize my haircut. So with my blending shears, really just focusing on my detailing, okay? My detailing, I'm using it honestly just to soften up my edging, okay? Same thing along the top. Taking my overall section, coming forward. I could point cut to remove a little bit of weight, and I want to give a little bit more texture. Okay, all the way through. Same thing. So this is where I fine-tune the haircut for all my clients. Okay, this is where it becomes personalized. This is where I start to see all my detail, all my finish. I'm not gonna focus on doing too much all around. Okay. So you can see, right, overall haircut, long trim pop. Now, I created this on my client. I did everything I did. I basically spoke to him as if I was educating him, as if he was my student. I was telling him exactly what I did and why I did it. I spoke to him about the baseline of the importance of it. Now he can actually see what I told him come to life, right? I can now show him, notice how your baseline transitions, right? Transitions the bottom into the top. That hold, that foundation creates the base that's going to hold up your pompadour. So now I put in the grooming spray. The grooming spray gives that little bit of grit, a little bit of texture. So when you're styling your hair, it almost gives a memory hold, right? Now, how do we finish it? I ask 2 questions with 3 possible answers. Okay? As far as shine, do you like a high shine, a mid shine, or no shine? Do you like a strong hold, a medium hold, or a very light hold? Whatever his answers are to those 2 questions will give me an idea of what cool products I can put into his hair. If he tells me high shine, high hold, well, I could go with the blue, right? So before we go into that, products and so on, Product Island, I spoke about it. I posted a picture yesterday on my Instagram, and we'll try to share it later to give you an idea of what I meant. It's basically like a kitchen island. So I got stations on both sides of this big kitchen island, and in that kitchen island, I have all the products that we use from REUZEL, right? So what we do is, when we create a prescription for a client, I'll take my tray, I'll go to the product counter, the island, and I'll choose his prescription. In this situation, you're going to say to yourself, "Well, I don't have a product island in my shop." Well, this was my first shop. So my first shop, I don't have that same product island like we did at our other shop. But what I did have was, I'll turn you guys over. What I did have was just a regular wall shelving system where we put all our products. Same thing, right? If you have a client coming into your shop and he's looking at products, you should always have one product that is a sample so that they can open, they can smell, they can use. That should still be the product for all your team to use, okay? So I now told my client what I need, or I said to him, okay, so I'm going to put, he likes a matte finish, he likes no shine. So I'm going to put the extreme hold because I want to give a lot of strong hold, but I want to give it a matte finish. So I take my product. But now I'm thinking, you know what? He says he doesn't like shine. Maybe it's because it just wasn't brought to him in a way where it made him feel comfortable. I'm going to try to introduce a little bit of a top coat of shine. Now I could do the red as a top coat, or I could spray some of the grooming spray at the end to give it a top coat. Either way, I got 2 products that I need. I brought over already the aftershave because I always like to finish my patients with a bit of aftershave around his neckline. So now I have pretty much what I need. I go back to my client and I place my products that I've used on a tray. So now this is his personalized prescription, right? So if he were my client facing me, right, and we're basically now looking at product, I want to explain to my client, okay, so here we go, sir. This is the REUZEL Extreme, okay? This is a stronghold matte finish pomade. I hold the product in front of my client, open it, and with my index finger, go through it. Now, what this does is it shows him how I use the product, right? But at the same time, it allows him to smell the product and see the product. The fact that smell has a lot to do with someone buying a product, right? It has everything to do with it because if they like the smell, it enhances their purchase power. If they don't like it, well, I like what it did, but I can't stand that smell. So I love the smells of REUZEL. So opening it up is basically putting that sale at about a 75, 80% already sold. Okay, packaging, another 10, you're already at 85%, 90. Now, all you got is 10% left. The product just has to do what it's supposed to do. That's a no-brainer. It will. Amount I put, okay, work it into my hand, close it up. I use my palms to basically activate the product, and when I'm putting the product in, I like to work it into the hair, okay? Now, don't be afraid to put product into hair, okay? Remember one thing, product is made to enhance a haircut, okay, not camouflage. We don't put product by stamping it and putting it down because that cowlick over there, we don't know what we're doing. I kind of cut it off, now it's sticking up. No, I know we did the steps properly. I know the haircut will fall nicely, so I can put product in to really enhance what I did, okay? So now that I put my product in, take my Afro pick, compliments of Mr. George Achetar. Thank you so much, sir. And I work it in, okay? Working my way through. So his hair's still a bit damp underneath. I didn't dry it fully. But gives you an overall finish. And I didn't finish that other side. I really only finished this side for sake of the video. Okay? So my whole thing is you really need to understand, I don't teach or educate to show you how good of a stylist I am, or how good of a barber I am, or how well I can cut hair. Because that's irrelevant. Because no one really cares, okay, how good you are. What really matters is how much your client likes you. That is the most important thing. We've looked at it, we've all seen this. We look at haircuts out there, we say to ourselves, my God, look at that person's haircut. I can't believe they're wearing their hair like that. But that guy's walking around with a smile. I look at that and say, good on the barber or good on the hairdresser, because that hairdresser or barber gave that person the confidence that looked fantastic on him. So at the end of the day, it's not about how good you cut his hair, it's how good you made him feel. That's really, really important. That's really what I stress. I'm not here to show you, oh, look how good my haircut is and look what I did. No, I want you to understand that connecting with your client is by far the most important thing you will ever do. The relationship you create is what's going to be that lasting imprint on that client and that client coming back. The education you gave that client, explaining to him what you did as far as that haircut, extremely important because it allows him to redo it at home. But then selling him the products that he needs. I hear this a lot in all my classes. I'm not a salesperson. I'm not asking you to be a salesperson. I'm not telling you to sell a goddamn thing. What I want you to do is I want you to tell your client or tell your patron, tell your guest what you used in his hair. I want you not to be a salesperson. I want you to be professional, okay? A doctor will not take your prescription or take your symptoms and then just write something down and give it to you and go. He explains things to you. He explains to you what he feels is wrong and what you're going to need to get better. At the end, he gives you a prescription. This is your prescription. Now, you choose to buy it, fantastic. You choose not to buy it, that's on you. But I gave you my professional opinion of what you need to do at home in order to achieve this look. And I guarantee you, if you did a good job on that and you did a good job explaining, that person will buy that product. Now, I know, again, a lot of people are, well, already my prices are this, my clientele is that. People have far too much concern about spending other people's money. I'm not spending my client's money. I'm not telling my client how he needs to spend his money, but I am going to tell my client what he needs in order to look his best, in order to achieve what I did for him. That I will do. And that doesn't mean what I'm doing to my client is telling him he has to buy this. No, I just want him to have all the tools necessary when he goes home to recreate this, because I want to make sure that he always looks his best. So product education is essential. Product explanation is even more essential. So if you could do that, explain to your client what you use, why you used it, create a prescription unique to him, and brought it to the front desk at checkout or when you're checking him out, it's there in front of him, I guarantee you'll notice an increase in your sales. And it does affect your bottom dollar. Absolutely. Last I checked, I don't work for hugs and kisses. Although it's nice, it doesn't pay my mortgage, it doesn't pay my rent, it doesn't pay my lease. Okay? Money does. So we're all in this for the same reason. I love my clients, I love what they do, and I love working hard for them. But I do it all so that I can continue to do this tomorrow, that I can continue to employ other people, that I continue to feed my children. That's basically what we're here to do. So knowing your product is essential. Knowing what the line of products are. I'm just going to spin you around. REUZEL has a bunch of client cards or product cards. It's self-explanatory, right? All I need to do is tell my client what this does is the matte texture powder. Adds texture, volume, no shine, it's weightless, and a non-sticky formula. So I know by asking certain questions, I know that this product will either benefit him or not. Same thing with matte styling paste, pliable, medium hold, matte finish. Now every single product has that, right? Now it's about getting to know your products. Understanding what product does what so that you can give a proper explanation, a proper prescription to each one of your clients, making every client feel special and unique. That to me is the most important thing. Without that, all we are is hair cutters. I like to consider myself a professional. I put a lot of pride in what it is that I do, and it's not so much in the way I cut hair. It's not so much, for me, I feel it's my ability to connect with every single one of my clients. That to me is most important. I build a relationship. I've been doing this for 30 years. I've had clients, I still have clients that I've been cutting their hair for 30 years. That says a lot. If you can have a retention rate of people that have come to you for that long of your whole career, it says something. You're doing something right. If you don't see clients come back on a regular, I can guarantee you 9 out of 10 times it's not because of price. Clients don't stop coming to you because of price. Clients stop coming to you because you somewhere along the lines forgot about that person. So I reset with every single one of my clients every single time. I make sure that every single time he sits in my chair, it's as if I'm cutting his hair for the first time. I always talk about what I did the last time because I'm always trying to improve that haircut and make it better the next time. People always ask me, what's your favorite haircut? The one I have yet to do. Because I know that will be better than the one I just did. Because I'm constantly improving and bettering myself. And REUZEL allows me to do that. REUZEL not only gives me the foundations and the fundamentals that I need as a professional in my cutting ability, but also the product. I've never once, with a brand like REUZEL, have felt that I've been in a situation where, man, I wish we had that. It's always the opposite. I feel REUZEL comes out with something, and then every other brand follows. So it says something when you work for someone or when you stand by someone that has that type of influence. And I always felt that REUZEL, we're far more than a brand. We're a culture, really is what we are. And what we do, it makes us unique. We don't want to stand apart. We just do, simply because we love what we do. So if you have any questions, hit me up. You can check out my Instagram, email me, text me, whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, what we wanted to achieve today, more than anything, try and move slowly, more than anything, is to have the product understanding or the proper understanding of why we use product. the proper understanding of what it is and the importance of why we use product. REUZEL as a brand brought you out so many different products. When we do finish up a client, aftershave. I must sell, I don't know, pretty much every other client buys one because they throw it in their car, they throw it in their gym bag. Yep. Slap it on. Yes, sir. Can you just repeat that? The question is, okay, proper to keep your hair nourished properly, because his hair is very straight, if I understand correctly, and you want to keep your hair nourished at the same time. Well, pretty much I would say the majority of it starts with the hair wash, right? So if your hair's fairly straight, I wouldn't use anything. The daily shampoo is a very lightweight shampoo. It's you can't use it literally daily. It's called a daily shampoo for that reason. I wouldn't put conditioner in your hair because there's no need to have conditioner. It's just gonna leave it a little bit too soft. And if your hair's already straight as is, grooming spray. Grooming spray to me has a ton of benefits to it. So not only as a nurturing product to basically help hydrate or moisturize your hair, but the benefits to keep your hair from going limp or flattening, or like you said, if your hair's too straight, tends to fall. This is going to give you that foundation that you're going to need as far as a great product or a foundation product for whatever you put on top. As far as styling product, if you want anything with hold, pretty much any of the water-based products wash out very easily. So no matter what you put, as long as it washes out well, you won't have a problem. But really, as a foundation product, I would definitely the grooming spray. Do we have any other questions? 55-minute mark. So we're getting close to the end. So now I like to talk about the various ways of actually using products. So I put the grooming, the extreme pomade gives it a strong hold matte finish. But now if I want to give a top coat of a little bit of shine, same thing. I can then use the red and just a bit into my hand as a top coat. Okay, and automatically gives it a nice shine, right? But not too much of a shine, as if I put that product straight to the root out, it would probably give a lot more of an effect of that wet kind of greaser look, which is not what I want. I just want to give it a nice sheen, right? So you can see with the light reflecting off of it, the kind of effect that it gives. So that's another way of using multiple products. When you get to know your products, if I were just to grab here, okay, even the texture powder, okay? The texture powder, if I wanted to just add a little bit of hold at the root, okay? Whatever I do with this, it gives a really nice textured hold to it, right? If you're doing jelly rolls, if you want to have a little bit of like a disconnection or a piece, you really want to accentuate on your textures. I find a lot of the new products, whether it's the grooming, the matte styling, the grooming cream, more for softer curls. These are all great products and fun to work with. Okay, so the best way to understand the product is use it. You'll never understand or you'll never sell more than one product, then you're always having your go-to product in front of you. Remove your go-to products and make yourself be a little bit more uh, explore, right? Try to find something that's different. Work with a product that you're not used to working with and see what the effects that it has. If you're not trying it, you'll never know, right? So even when we do classes, every time I give a course, if what I've taught you, you don't go home and put it into effect, or you don't go to work and put it into play, well, you'll never remove yourself from where you're at. If you feel you're in a rut or you want to take a class to help you get past that hump, well, you can't just take a class and expect the class to give you the boost that you need. You're going to need to take what that was that you were taught, whether it's one thing, two things, five things, whatever it is, and add it to your arsenal, right? So that you go home and you try these things. That's how you evolve. That's how you better yourself. So even with product, a new product comes in, try it. Try it on different types of hair. Mix it with other products. Get to know pretty much everything that you're using. So this way, whenever it is a client sits in your chair, you never have that go-to product that you go get, right? Because that's why I really wanted to remove products from the front of myself and my team, simply because it makes you push yourself to constantly try to find a proper prescription for every individual. And we are individuals, and we have to remember that we are not we're not a fleet of people coming through your shop that are exactly the same. Everyone has different wants, different needs, different hair textures, different types of growth patterns. All these things play a major role in what we're going to use as product. So, so that being said, I kind of like to play with what REUZEL gives me as far as products, from their shaving cream, from their fiber gel, from their pomades, from their hard hold, their wax base, from their estrogen foam, from their grooming tonic, which is their foundation, the primer of what we use on all our hairstyles. All these products really give me a multitude of textures and a multitude of styles, and it really makes my hair cutting and my platform endless, right? It gives me a much bigger repertoire, and that's really important. I never want to be pegged as the person that does, oh, he's known for skin fades or he's known for pompadours. No, I want to be known for service. I want to be known for quality education. And that starts with myself and my clients. And I feel every time I get a client and I repeat everything I do to that client, it keeps me on my toes. It keeps me understanding what it is that I do. And it always makes my job exciting. I've never once in this industry felt that I've reached a plateau or I've reached a point where, oh, no motivation. I, my clients motivate me every single day, every single time I get behind a chair. And that's why I know that what's going on right now is affecting all of us. And I want to touch on that a little bit because we're running out of time. And reach out, man. Reach out to your friends. Reach out to the people that you respect in our industry or in your life. Right now is a very hard time for people like us or people in general, right? We're secluded to a space where we're no longer interacting with people on a physical level, and that can be difficult, and it could ride you quite a bit. Like, so if you do feel you're in a situation where you need to talk to someone, reach out to a friend, reach out to a colleague, reach out to a professional in the industry that you admire. I know I've been getting a lot of messages from people I've had in my classes or people that I met throughout the years, just touching base. And I think it's important that we do that and we keep touching base with one another, and know that we're still there, right? And know that when we get back, our clients will be eagerly anticipating our return, and we'll have more than what we can do with all the hair that will be needed to cut. But until that happens, all we can do is do our part to stay safe, to keep each other safe from distance. So self-isolation, as hard as that may be, is all we can do to better our community, to better our planet. And if we're learning anything from this, is the importance of people, right? The importance of what we have as far as one another. It's not just on a physical basis through social media. It's also on a verbal basis, right? It's also on connecting with people to understand, you know, that they feel the same way you feel, that they're going through the same thing you're going through. So, as far as myself and everyone at REUZEL, all our ambassadors from all over the world, we'll be doing this 3 times a week: Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I believe. So, next one up is my good buddy Cheeseburger. Dave, you gotta watch him. He'll be hitting you up with some solid education. And I hope if you got anything out of this was entertainment. Another thing I'd like to say is Marta, happy birthday. She's our Senior Vice President of Global Education and Sales, so she's a big reason we're all here doing what we do. So Marta, happy birthday. She turned 31 today, so that's that's huge. Anyway, I want to wish you all well. I want to wish you safe isolation. Um, I don't know where I'm at with time. I got basically a minute left, so I'll leave you guys be with a little close up. There we go, there we go, there we go. There we go. Thank you very much.